An artist trustee of Sundance Institute, he is best known for his roles in the films 500 Days of Summer, Inception, 50-50, The Dark Knight Rises, Looper, and Lincoln. His first film role was in A River Runs Through It, directed by Robert Redford. That collaboration opened the doors to the Sundance family, and he's gone on to star in the Sundance hits Manic, Brick, Mysterious Skin, Hesher, and the aforementioned 500 Days of Summer. He made his directing debut with the short film Sparks, which premiered at the 2009 Sundance Film Festival. His collaborative production company, Hit Record, had a featured installation in New Frontier in 2010 and a live show at Eccles in 2012. He's back this year starring in his feature debut as writer-director with Don John's Addiction. Ladies and gentlemen, our very own Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Thank you. Thanks very much. It is very cool and a real honor to be here hosting the awards ceremony for the Sundance Film Festival 2013. I remember it very specifically, actually, the first time I ever heard the name Sundance. It was when I worked for Mr. Redford in his film A River Runs Through It. I was 10 years old, and he gave me a t-shirt that said Sundance Institute. And I was like, what's this? I don't know what it is. And it wasn't until probably a few years later that I actually began to learn what Sundance really was. And that was, you know, when I was 14 or so. This is in the middle of the 90s, when we had this really big spike of independent cinema, or at least awareness of independent cinema in our country, largely due to, you know, the success of Pulp Fiction. And so I was going, every weekend I'd go to the Sunset 5 and watch, you know, Trees Lounge and Swingers and Sling Blade and Big Night and The Usual Suspects, and all these movies came through Sundance, all of them. And I noticed that. I was like, man, I would love to be involved in one of these movies. And, you know, at the time, I was on a TV show, Third Rock from the Sun, which I really loved. It was very different. And thank you. And it was about 10-ish years ago that I first got to come to Sundance with a movie that I was in called Manic. And then over the last decade or so, this place and this organization has been so supportive and fundamental in my ability to grow up and become the artist that I wanted to be. And I could never have done it without Sundance, and I could never be more grateful. And you know what, I love the festival, but I also love the institute, the Sundance Institute, the labs. I bet a lot of you guys have been there. I've been up to the labs twice. I participated in the theater labs and in the filmmakers labs. But to me, you know, more than a festival and more than even the institute, what Sundance is a community of people, of filmmakers and just film lovers who all believe together that there's more to movies than, you know, glitz and glamour and box office and money. And not that there's anything wrong with that stuff, but, you know, movies to me are much more important than that. And in Hollywood, you can be sort of made to feel like a freak or pretentious or something if you start to call movies art and things like that. And I really think it makes a difference to have a community of people who all have that in common and can support each other in that. And I've always found that here, and it means a lot to me. So what we're going to do here tonight is honor some of those films and filmmakers who've achieved excellent things this year. Now, I think it's worth making the point, this isn't basketball, these are movies, there's no winners and losers. You know, award shows are fun and we all love them, but yeah, it's art. Like, I think that anybody who's here in any capacity with a movie that they had anything to do with is like, has done something really amazing and worth applauding and feeling proud of. And, yeah. And I'm not just saying that because none of my movies ever won any awards. Yeah, so why don't we get on with the ceremony? Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce a good friend of mine. This woman runs, she's the executive director of the Sundance Institute that makes these labs happen, that makes this festival happen, that makes all of this happen. She's super, super smart, and not just because she invited me onto the board of trustees, but that was one of the smart things that she did. She's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Carrie Putnam. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Director of Programming for the Sundance Film Festival and the best dressed man here tonight, Mr. Trevor Groff. All right, it's time to take a look at the World Cinema Competitions. Yeah, let's hear it for all those films. The World Cinema Documentary Jury includes the former Director of Programming at Hot Docs, Sean Farnell, the winner of the Editing Award at the 2012 Sundance Film Festival for her work on the film Ditropia, Einat Sidi, and a consultant to filmmakers and film festivals for over 30 years who has served as a producer on such Sundance films as Ballet Russe and Trick, Mr. Bob Hawke. Please welcome all three jurors. The World Cinema Dramatic Jury includes the executive director of the IFP, who has produced 20 films that have premiered at Sundance, including Welcome to the Dollhouse and Broken English. That's Joanna Vicente. Also, the renowned Lebanese director and star of Cannes Film Festival hits Caramel and Where Do We Go Now, Nadine Labaki. And one of the leading directors of India's new wave of cinema, whose two-part film, Gangs of Wasseypur, is playing in the Spotlight section at Sundance this year. That's Anurag Kashyap. So please, let's hear from all three of them. So, there's a section at the festival called Next. And this is devoted to films of pure, bold, innovative storytelling. Basically, these are the ones that are really pushing boundaries, and this is kind of what Sundance is all about. Why don't we take a look at the films? I get to present this one. So, the Audience Award, Best of Next, goes to This is Martin Bonner, written and directed by Chad Hartigan.
Thank you so much.
Our next two presenters are here with the film Running from Crazy, which is playing in the documentary premieres section. Yeah. My friend Barbara Koppel is a two-time Academy Award-winning director who is the only filmmaker to ever sweep the Sundance Film Festival's documentary award categories. Mariel Hemingway is an activist and an Oscar-nominated actress who has starred in such films as Woody Allen's Manhattan, Personal Best, and Star 80. Please welcome Barbara Koppel and Mariel Hemingway.
Turn it up a little bit more. Bang, bang, bang.
Wow, so much who are standing on stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Keep it going. Thank you very much.
People are back in the square right now fighting in Egypt as we speak, and so this
It's
film
now
means
time to take a look at our U.S. documentary and dramatic film competitions. Am I supposed to? Uh-oh. Oh, whoops. Okay, well, I'll start over. That's why you're supposed to come to the dress rehearsal. The Audience Award, World Cinema Dramatic, goes to Metro Manila, directed and co-written by Sean Ellis.
Wow. Thank you to the Sundance Film Festival for programming it. Thanks to the two Johns and to Trevor and your continued support for independent film. And thank you for the audience that voted for this. I'm so glad that this film connected with everyone and my amazing cast that was probably the people that connected with you the most. On a personal note, I'd like to dedicate this to my mum who passed away last year. Mum, this is for you. Thanks.
it's time to take a look at our U.S. documentary and dramatic